The levels are okay.
All right, it's time for Bingo is Life.
Wow.
The podcast. I'm still Jay Zaire, joined by the Howdy Shell brothers, Michael and Christopher, left to right.
Hola.
Still holding down the fort down here at Ruby's Arcade
Yes.
for the wonderful Bingo is Life variety show.
Yeah. It was
The
good to be
variety
back.
show. Still
Good to be
calling it
back.
variety show.
I know.
I'm going to keep calling it that.
That's good. Okay, good.
Trouble in the trailer court.
That's right.
Over here, my dear friend, Mom
I
Shackles.
got run over by show business.
She's on her way back from her gig in Antarctica.
I did too much show business the past
Too
3
much
weeks.
show business.
Far too much show business.
So well, we're really glad to see you. We're glad you
Thank
made
you.
it.
Yes, welcome.
You did not have to come,
Yeah.
even though we're paying so much money.
Right.
I'm really excited that we have some great guests, and I wanted to support them. But I
Yeah.
also, yeah.
Very nice of you.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for coming back. Thank you for being here. Also,
We do have
and
a-
I'm pointing to Chris and for the listener. Thank you, Chris.
When are we going to get this on YouTube? All the Mormon podcasts have
We
like
do not want to see ourselves on YouTube
No.
specifically.
We do have a guest in the silent
We
Aaron
do.
and Dave chair.
We do.
She's in the queue.
She's about
Yeah.
6'3". I think she must be on the.
I think that's what she said, right?
Mm-hmm.
6'3" at least.
Might be the tallest guest we've ever
Probably.
had.
No one won the bingo because I was here. I was actually playing. I was pretty darn close. I had a whole bunch.
Is that right?
I was thinking I was going to have to give it to some kid. So because
Yeah, of course.
Hey, you know what? The girl who won, she just kept trying and trying until she finally won a pizza there.
Yeah,
at the
there
end.
wasn't anybody left in the room. She just kept rolling a ball down. She wasn't even rolling towards the pins. She just was picking up balls and throwing them at
She was
people.
just rolling it into the pizza oven.
But she won a pizza though, didn't she? Because
She
that's the
did.
kind of game we play.
Hey, tonight was a fun night because when I say we, me and Oliver did an art project over the weekend, and we made new clouds.
Oh.
That's right.
And so, and I gave everyone Sharpies this evening, and they all decorated their clouds, which is just a piece of paper. I mean, a paper plate.
A paper plate on a
paper
stick.
plate on a stick.
if you're friends with our special guest who's never listened to this podcast before and have no clue what is going on, explain the clouds in the elevator speech.
So we do a thing when you get a 7 in which we talk about bingo heaven. And when we talk about bingo heaven, you wave the clouds like we're all in bingo heaven.
We sing a song.
When I die.
You've got it.
Bingo.
That was really
That was
good.
beautiful.
That was really good.
Well, Jay was gonna I was gonna harmonize with Jay, but then he stopped singing. So
Well, I didn't want to hit a bad note. That would be
That's the Mennonite in you. Right there. That's what that is.
That's the Mennonite. Still in there.
Still in there.
Black hat and beard and horse. Stepping all over my joy.
Before we get to our guest,
Yes.
I did want to throw out a big thank you to all the people who came to the Little Grill a couple of weeks ago for our Paul Simon show. You guys talked a little bit about it last week, but I
Tried
wanted
to leave it open for you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say it was super fun to be in that building again, and super fun to have so many wonderful people there. And it was a packed house, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just lucky, and moments like that. were
So shout
super
out
cool.
to the Little Grill. Get there. Go
absolutely.
eat there.
They've
Go look.
they've got some
Be.
matcha pancakes on their special for this month because they're green and St. Patrick's Day. Maybe I don't know, but there's a lot of matcha stuff out there right now because of the green. I assume because of St. Patrick's Day. I don't know, but they look really good, and I'm gonna get one
Okay.
Thank-
before
Patrick.
this month is out.
You sound like you're threatening me.
These are my goals.
And I'm going to get one.
I will eat the pancake.
Hey, today was National Pancake Day.
Was it?
That's
Is
what the sign said down where I work, where she
Is-
puts a sign up every day, a national whatever day it was.
Okay, great. Is it also the start of Mardi Gras or something?
I have
Mardi
no
Gras was
idea.
today.
That was
Yeah.
today?
today.
Yeah.
Today's
do
Pat-
pancakes have something to do with that?
No, but
Okay.
I get crepes, but then there's king cake, which is the Mardi Gras cake.
Oh, okay.
You can go on to the internet, and there's every day is like a million, dozens
things.
of things. You just pick out whatever day you want to.
Okay, cool.
There's national.
Positive way of looking at the life.
And do you know what today is in our podcast?
What?
It's Laura Thompson
Hey.
Day.
Oh, hello.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. I was going to ask you if you work at IHOP. Maybe. Is that why it was Pancake Day?
No, well, it was Everett's bank or savings and loan. And we have an office back there, and the woman puts up like a sign every day, like National Pasta Day or National Pet Your Cat Day or
Pet your cat.
So you work next to the one savings loans that Reagan did not destroy.
Hey, no politics on the show.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sometimes you can't get away from it.
No,
It's all
you
good.
can't.
Tell us, who is this person that is visiting us today, Chris?
Hi. Well, we're really
Hi.
excited to have Laura because I know her through just living in Harrisonburg.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yep.
much she has a son.
Perfect. What a great fit for the show.
Daughter. She has a daughter that is almost the same age as my son.
Yeah.
And so I think there's
She looks too young for
there's
that.
something there. And then, so I
all
know,
an
I
illusion.
specifically know her from her artwork. And she,
yes.
I believe you taught an art class even here.
Yes,
Once.
I have taught art classes all over Harrisonburg.
Yeah, you are
truly.
the art. Yeah, you do that. That's your niche.
Yeah,
Your Nietzsche.
it's my
Your
Nietzsche.
Nietzsche.
It's one of my Nietzsches. So,
So tell
yeah.
us, how did you land in Harrisonburg? That's
Oh, like so many. I'm from upstate New York, and I came to JMU, and then I never left because weather.
yeah, smart.
So yeah, that's kind of how I got here, and I didn't anticipate staying here, but I think that's also how it happens for a lot of people.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, this town gets you.
It
does.
does.
It gets you.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah. Where in upstate New York are you from?
Rochester.
Rochester. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Is that one okay?
Wait,
passed the
what's
test.
not fine though?
No. I would just. No, it's fine. It wouldn't matter. My family's from upstate New York, Krogan,
Where?
up by the lake, up
The one lake they have in
yeah.
that state.
Watertown.
Oh, Watertown. Okay, yeah. I got you.
Watertown.
Yeah, that's at the other end of Ontario from Buffalo. So that's the other snowy part.
Yeah.
We got our full fill of snow, but not like Buffalo or Watertown.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
right. So you come down to JMU. What did you study art at JMU or?
Yeah, well, I found myself in a work study and randomly got placed in Duke Hall, but because I came undeclared and didn't really know what I was going to do, and never knew that art was a viable option. So I found myself as an office gopher, and I was just kind of delivering things around Duke Hall and seeing all the art and seeing. I never knew that graphic design was a thing, and I was like,
Right.
oh, you can do art and also business, what is this? So yeah, I did that my freshman year, and then applied to the School of Art and Art History, which is now the School of Art Design and Art History, and got in, and then I started my art journey.
Art journey.
Art
Yeah.
journey.
Who were you? Who did you work with when you got? Or who was teaching that you remember from back then?
I kind of got the tail end of I feel like the OGs, like Jay Kane, Barb Lewis, Jack McCaslin, Steve Zapton. So yeah, just a lot of people who'd been there Jack just retired a couple of years ago. And
Stuart Downs had passed by the time you got there.
No, he was there. Yeah, this was I got to JMU in '98. So yeah, he was there for a couple of years. I do remember the gallery that he ran, and it was a cool little gallery. It's a much bigger gallery now but yeah.
All right, so you get here, you're studying art, and then you're like, what? So then, what was your first job in art outside of college?
So I graduated with a degree in graphic design, but also with my art education license. So I couldn't find a job right away because of I graduated at a weird time, and so it was not because I wasn't good at it. We're gonna say
Well, usually they just snap up those art majors. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Art major, come right on in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait on those tables over there.
Yeah. No, I actually ended up in a printing company that is no longer around, and it was horrible. It was
It's not Garrison Press. Was
No,
it?
no. They're still going strong.
Thank you,
It
Garrison
shall not
Press.
be named.
Thank you, Garrison Press, for the quick work you do.
Yes,
Thank
they do
God
an
for
amazing
Garrison
job.
Press.
Yes, thank you, Angie, and your team. No, I got a job there, and they hired me essentially to be the receptionist, which I did not excel at, but instead I did graphic design for them. So I was like the worst receptionist who did graphic design and got paid to be a bad receptionist. So I think I lasted about 8 months at that, and then ended up as a weight loss consultant and working at a stained glass studio. So, it's like the
trying to connect what the connection is between them.
It's a journey,
at
Mike.
all.
It's a journey.
It's the journey. It's just like trying to figure out like a way to make money right after college.
There's the connection.
That's it. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what it is. Yeah.
I also graduated in a weird time.
But yeah, as I kind of got into that, I finally found a teaching job. It was part-time, so then I was doing art education and stained glass. I worked at Carousel Stained Glass Studio, which is no longer around, but yeah, I learned a ton from that, and that's kind of like my first medium that I worked in. And like kind of made a bid to be professional at that. It was just much harder at that time in like the early 20 was it the 2000s?
2000s, yeah, that's cool.
The early 20 yes.
Dickety 5.
When you had to like physically carry your art around, or like I took like some class about how to build a website back in Dreamweaver.
Oh,
maybe?
Dreamweaver! Wow.
So that did not. I mean, I did a little bit here and there, but I ended up just that kind of petered off after a while. I had my daughter in 2008, and then it was just like glass and toddler and babies, like just doesn't mix. So
and you said you were teaching, right? Where were you teaching?
So I started in Page County, at a little tiny school called Grove Hill that no longer is a school.
Okay.
But I was there, and then I was at Stanley Elementary. Once that job went full time, I was at both of those schools. And then when they finally opened up middle schools in 2009, I think that was. I actually was at the middle school for a couple of years.
Very cool.
Before coming back here.
Well, we're big supporters of public education.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Me and Mike both work for the public education world.
It's critical.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I did see in an interview she did, though, one thing she said is, "I never want to have to grade art again."
That is 100% true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So all right. So Bloom, where are you now? Tell us what's the passion? What's the passion projects right now?
Passion projects right now. So I have been a full-time artist for the past. This is going into my 3rd year.
Yay! That's
thank you,
huge.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a journey, just like all the other journeys. But right now, I am working to expand my murals. I would really like to do more of those. So if anybody knows of anybody, just let me know. But
there are walls everywhere.
There are walls everywhere, and there's just a really big push for public art right now, and also just people realizing that it's a pretty relatively affordable way to really change a space quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm doing that, and I'm showing my work, and I'm teaching classes. So those are kind of the things that I'm spending my time doing.
So how many classes do you teach a week? 1, 2?
Right now I'm teaching 2. I'm teaching a business of art class to other artists, and that was made possible through a grant through the Arts Council. So thank you to the Arts Council for that. And then I'm teaching at Friendly City Clay and Art Center, which is another wonderful resource we have in our community. I'm teaching sort of like an art club for adults right now, which is really fun because it's basically like a different medium every night. For 8 weeks, once a week for 8 weeks. And I teach all sorts of different things though. And
you really honed your style. I see your art in a lot of places, and I'm like, Laura's here, Laura's there, Laura's here.
Can we talk about where those places are?
So I've seen your art. You have it on a mural in downtown, but you've also got your prints in Stanton at the Maid store that I love to go to. So it was fun to see your stuff there outside of Harrisonburg. Laura's style is kind of collage-esque. You use a lot of collage in your artwork, incorporating like old magazines and things.
Yes.
So where do you find the magazine?
Well,
you've got
I don't
a
know
treasure
if you guys
trove.
know about this place in town called gift and thrift.
I thought you were going to say
Okay.
the public library.
She's just cutting up books. Hey, I don't need this anymore.
They're absolutely free.
I know. I've never had to pay for one. No, because Gift and Thrift has book savers in it. They have like a ton of magazines
Yeah,
in there, and
I
they
checked.
actually have a collection of. And I keep thinking if I tell people this, I'm going to run out of magazines, but. Everybody does different stuff. They have a bunch of old National Geographics that are categorized by decade.
Wow.
And I have depleted a lot of them. But also just like antique malls and stuff. Like I'll just kind of look around and see what I can find. But yeah, all the magazines that I use are typically from like the 1940s to 70s. So there's like a look that I'm definitely going for when I do
Nice.
Popular
Distinctive.
Mechanics.
I have some of those, and there was another one that was like
You're the one that's buying up all the Popular Mechanics, and I can't find them anymore.
I actually got a bunch of them on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody like contacted me. Was like, "Did you see this stash?" Like I'm at a point in my career where people are noticing when things are available, and they'll be like, "Laura, do you need this?" So that's awesome because I have have little agents on the ground trying to find me old magazines. So I can share some though. I have a lot.
Your mural that is beside Three Notched Brewing, it's on the Mod Display Building.
Yes.
It replicates your collage style so beautifully by looking like a collage, even though it's a giant painting. And that's really extraordinary.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank
And,
you.
and that's your first big mural you've ever made?
Yeah, because I'm one of those people who's like, why not just do this giant thing the first time?
Tell me about the mechanics of that. Do you know
The popular mechanics.
the popular?
Now you're back to it.
Oh.
Wow.
Bum, bum. Where's the drum roll?
Where did they go?
We can add it
Oh,
later.
yeah, sorry.
Do you have a grid that you planned it out on that's smaller and then you transfer to a larger?
So I have the advantage of having the background in graphic design, so I'm really familiar with Adobe products, and so I do a lot of
You got the Adobe suite.
and I do a lot of my mock-ups in there, and then I'll use a projector, and so for that one I had to wait. You have to go late, and it was in the summer, so it was way later than I wanted to be up, but I projected a lot of it at night.
You projected it.
Yeah.
What did you use for that?
I actually borrowed a projector from another artist in Richmond for that. And I have a projector now, but I don't know that it would be powerful enough to do that because I was basically all the way over at the three-notched little deck. And I mean, I was probably
So
8 feet away from that, shooting it up at that wall.
You projected it, and then you had to go over there and draw on the projections, like get up on a ladder and.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, trace it with chalk. Yeah.
Cool.
That went up so fast, though.
It seemed like it. It took me 7 weeks.
Wow.
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
That's amazing.
That was a labor of love for sure.
What would you think about like an art project that was where you were projecting something on the side of a building just temporarily? Does anybody do that sort of thing?
Not here, not that
Have you
I
ever
know
heard-
of. Yes, I've seen it, and I think it's amazing. And
What's it look like? I mean, is it like you've seen people do that?
I have, yeah. I actually don't know anybody who does that around here. I feel like it's usually in bigger cities, but it would be cool.
You should see if they'll let you do a mural on the feed mill.
I've heard that suggestion before.
Rappel down from there.
Oh, we
my
need
gosh,
it. We
yeah.
need that big gray space.
Would you
need something
would you know how to
awesome.
tackle that? Would you have a clue?
I feel like you would need a really big cherry picker. Like there's, I don't know. I know that there's ways, or you can basically hang a scaffolding thing from the top.
Maybe
Right.
like what they use to wash windows in movies.
Yeah.
The window viper.
Is it true that that's the tallest building in Harrisonburg? Is that true?
It's got to be.
Yeah,
Gotta
it's
be.
got to
Seems
be.
like it would be, yeah.
Well, I remember.
I don't want to start spreading rumors or anything.
It's got to be.
Somebody's going to call us up and say, "No, I am the tallest building."
I worked on that. I helped build that thing. I worked
had-
from like 7
you
at
did?
night till 7 in the morning pouring concrete.
Really?
They poured that thing in one giant stroke of pour of concrete.
Really?
It was the toughest job I ever did. It was an amazing job building that thing. But the interesting thing was
you continue to surprise me with
If
these
you
things
look-
you do.
okay. I'm going to take it down. So
When you've been around as long as Jay, you find yourself.
Yeah, you do it all eventually.
So what turned out was like with the people, the city, the old school good old boys who approved that thing had no clue how big that was going to be. If you look at that thing, there's like smaller round ones on the side. Next time you go by,
okay,
you see that went up first, and everybody was like, "Wow, that's huge!" You know, when that giant feed mill went up, everybody in town was like, "Oh my goodness." A lot bigger than we thought it was going to be.
Well, it's also where it's positioned. So when you're driving down, as you're driving down Main Street, it's like you just see. It's like the Empire State Building.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
except it's a big gray feed mill.
Well,
you need to put a paint mural on this, please.
Mural on that thing, like a giant turkey or something.
I mean, honestly,
Okay.
Harrisonburg could work this out.
People have been bouncing the idea around for a long time.
Yeah.
The owners of the
Yeah.
building are not quite as enthused as.
No.
Well, and I feel like there's so much momentum for murals right now that like now would be the time. Of course, it's privately owned, right? So there would be a lot of wooing you would need to do to get yourself in there. But the other thing is there's like a few other, a handful of other muralists here, and I keep thinking like, I would love to do just a collaborative.
Yeah,
where I don't even need to design it. Just want to see somebody's really giant, very cool thing come to life, and just be like a hired hand, like with a paintbrush.
How did you get the gig for the one we're talking about?
So I was friends. I'm friends with somebody who works at Mod, and he was like, my boss has been talking about a mural, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't paint murals. So I guess they'll be looking for someone else, and that's kind of how that conversation started. But then the Public Art Forward grant was available through the Arts Council, and it was actually like a decent chunk of money, and so that became available. So I went to like an info session the whole time. I was like, I don't think I'm doing this, but what if I did this?
What if I did this? Right,
And that's kind of what happened. I worked with Ben Hughes, who owns Mod, like with his team, and I kind of got some feedback from them. So there's a bunch of symbolism in that is like specific to their office. For instance, there is a deer in that on the side of it, and the reason that there's a deer is because they actually had a deer. Like, I don't know if it crashed through a door or a window, but they had a deer in their building at one point that just like was this event, and then they had a bat, so there's a bat up on there too. So there's like these funny little inside jokes, as well as other things that kind of represent downtown Harrisonburg and the community.
That was part of our conversation when we were looking at the mural, going, well, what if there's a deer and there's a bat? Okay, very cool. That's good.
Yeah. What kind of paint do you use for something like that?
I use the top of the line exterior latex from a place. I get Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore, I think, are kind of like, they're both good, but I always use the best quality one, because the question a lot of people have about murals is, when you paint an exterior mural, do you have to like varnish it or add another protective coating? And the answer to that is, if it is not at risk of graffiti, like if it's not in a place where people generally do graffiti, which of course would be like a lot of privately owned buildings. I don't think we have a huge graffiti problem here. Like, then you don't have to put anything on it, because it is an exterior paint. It's meant to hold up to the elements, and the better the quality of paint, the longer it'll last, and the brighter the colors will stay. And so,
That's some good paint. That's what I used.
It really is.
That's what I used to paint the carousel, and it's held up a long time. And a lot of butts. A lot of butts rubbing against that thing. So,
yes, I have not seen your carousel in person.
It's incredible.
People put their butts on it. It's fine.
So actually,
I don't know how many people put their butts on my murals.
Probably significantly less.
When me and Clay were building this space, one of the things that Clay asked me was to find artists to do murals. So if you ever come to Ruby's Arcade, each wall is done by a different artist.
It's extraordinary.
And it's a wild scene down here. There's no and the other thing was, we said, you do you, whatever. We had no boundary. We said, if you look in the room we're in right now, it is so interesting. It is
Linda Bostrom.
Yeah, Linda Bostrom. Yep. She did this room, and it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's so wild. It's just so unique. And then you got let's see, the Night Owl. He did the other wall over there on the right side.
Andre Shank.
Yes, yeah. And then they've worked together.
Yeah, Michael Broth and Andre. Yeah.
It's just really cool. I mean, I just got real lucky.
Yeah. Andre was actually, so when I got that mural and I was like, oh, I'm going to be painting 1,000 square foot wall and I've never done that before. I actually, in my budget, reached out to Andre before and was like, hey, could you be like my mentor for this and make sure I'm not making any really dumb mistakes?
Right.
So that's actually, I felt a lot better doing that because he kind of, he made sure that I didn't, approach it in like really dumb ways, which, when you don't have the experience, it's kind of hard sometimes.
I loved what you said earlier. It's very, I hear it a lot from creative types and from entrepreneur types where it's kind of like, I don't know if I can do this. What if I do this? It's always funny how you see, you see that change from like, I think I can do this. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I am of the mind that art it's so unique to the person that I'm never threatened by competition, or like, I don't even feel like there is competition because all of us bring something different to the table. And so like, I am so free. Like, I so freely give my knowledge and my experience because I just feel like that's how I've gotten to the place that I am, is just learning from other people. And I know that there are some, like I'm sure in every industry, there's people who are like, no, this is my little, like my precious or whatever.
My niche.
I just, exactly.
That's how it is in the bingo business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got the market cornered on that in Harrisonburg.
No. Singo's coming for us.
Singo,
but
that's
it's
right.
so different.
It's different.
It's so different. We actually sing.
Not the same.
Yeah.
So what's next? What's current? What are you working on now, or what's coming up? Do you have anything that you can share?
Well, I have a couple of shows that are coming up. They're not local. I have one at UVA at the School of the School of Commerce. I think it's the McIntyre School of Commerce. And then I have one in Richmond at the Cultural Arts Center in Glen Allen. As far as my artwork goes, and then I'm just sort of kind of trying to sell murals and figure out my teaching schedule, and it's always an interesting experience trying to figure out what the next step is, because there's no, I mean, I'm my own boss, so I have to be the one making it all happen.
Well, I will definitely add links to the show notes of whatever you've got to share,
cool.
any ways to get in touch with you and all that stuff.
You just did the Chop House.
I did.
And that was the one in Harrisonburg?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, in the bar.
You made it look old.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It was really fun.
We should share. There's a link, I'm sure, on your Facebook or something.
Yeah.
It looks great though.
Well, thanks.
I don't know how'd you pull that one off? Is that what you? I mean, do you sit around and go?
You got to get yourself into that old space first.
No, I mean, because it looks like an old sign.
Yeah.
And it does look like an old sign.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
it's a Popular Mechanics magazine.
All right. I just looked at one of those old Popular Mechanics. They showed me how to do a sign back in the 50s.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And it might not be right. And if it's wrong, Mike can cut it. You've been involved with Art Lotto the past.
Yes.
And I know that that's a collaboration between a lot of people, but you've been one of the movers and shakers involved with that. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
it's been a really, every time I've done it, it's been wonderful.
How long has that been going on?
I believe the first one was in 2012. And that was 100% Brandy Summers and Denise Allen. And then I think I did the second one. I didn't find out about the first one, and frankly, I hate doing portraits. But it was like, but it's cool and it's collaborative. And I think I might have joined in the third or fourth one as part of the team.
Do they do that every year?
And then no, it's I don't know. Everybody's so busy right now, but I think we've done 7. Since 2012, so obviously there was a little bit of a pandemic break and all that.
Was that an original idea from here?
That was Brandy's brainchild, yeah. And it was meant to just kind of get artists to get to know each other. So the format for it, if people aren't familiar, is you have a bunch of artists, and we do a really fun event called Luck of the Draw, and each artist draws a name, and then they draw that person's portrait. and then that person draws a name, and they'll draw someone else's portrait. Typically, you don't usually get pairs. So you get connected with two different artists, somebody who's doing your portrait and you're doing somebody else's portrait, and it's basically just to initiate conversation and connections within the art community. But then you get like all of this crazy artwork that comes out of it in all these different styles and mediums, and it's a really and they also, we've made it into this huge thing. So we've got the luck of the draw, and then we have I think we have a midway mixer, which is where we say like, hey artists, you probably haven't started yet, you probably should. And then we have a big celebration and artist party at the like the day before the opening, the public opening, and it's really fun.
Mama Shackles.
So,
go ahead.
Well, my follow-up question to that is, our town also has a wonderful thing called Rock Lotto. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me? I had a hair in my mouth. Can you tell us which one happened first, and if they are at all related?
I cannot tell you that.
I think Jesse Stover started Rock Lotto.
Do you know what year?
But yeah, what
I
year?
don't know.
Okay.
But that was, had been in other cities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of inspired by.
Well, Mama Shackles, you have a one of your paintings from the Art Lotto down at the Little Grill.
Yeah, I did a portrait of Dan Emmerman, who is a photographer in the most recent Art Lotto, and I asked him about what his passions were besides photography. I mean, photography is one of his passions, but he also just really loves to cook and has this whole chili and Brunswick stew. Like, he just likes to stir a big cauldron with a big stick. And that was what I painted him doing. And for some reason that resonated with Ron Copeland, and he asked to hang it up at the grill, which is I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's over there, but
it is good.
On the left-hand side when you come in for your green pancakes this year.
There you go.
Well, you know what's interesting? Little Grill. So the dry walk-in, which if you're looking at the Little Grill directly to the left of it, me and Mariana, we painted. I mean,
that's a mural.
It's a mural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We painted the dry walk-in. We just put a little sunshine on it with some mountains, and then we're like, oh, there's the moon and more mountains, and it was awesome. But it's still there.
Yeah.
But it's weird, and I've actually just recently thought, someone should really do something else there. But it is cool to see something that you just flew up, and there it is.
Do you guys have like an anniversary coming up? Could that be like touching it up like an anniversary thing?
I asked her the other day. I actually did. I was like, should we just go like repaint it and make it look pretty again?
Were you married when you did it, or was that while you were still courting?
We're still courting. Yes.
Courting. Listen to you, Jay.
Yes.
It was a wooing painting.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
They were wooing.
Pitching woo.
So
that's what you do when you're courting. You pitch woo.
That's from the old Merle Haggard song.
We don't
smoke marijuana in Muskogee.
What's the card show? Were you in part of the
the
card
deck show?
Yeah.
I've done that. This was, I think, my second time. Although it's been a bunch of times. No, it's yeah.
That's fine.
It was my second.
Did you do it this last year?
I did.
Which one was yours? I bought the deck. I could look at it.
Oh, cool. I had the 3 of clubs, and I went with a circus theme because I had a magazine that had like a whole spread of circus characters from like the 70s, and including all like the creepy clowns smoking cigarettes off the clock. And so it has like juggling clubs that are sort of the structure of it, and then all the little pieces. And it actually has little globe lights around the edge, and it does light up.
Cool. Oh,
yeah,
that is very cool.
So,
what do you own?
What do I own?
deck.
You own
the actual deck.
Yeah, the actual deck,
which is a picture of your piece of art. Is that how that works?
It's supposed to be a playable deck of cards, but it would be tough.
It would be very challenging.
Yeah.
But it's super fun to have.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it's more of like a piece to like leave on your coffee table.
Yes.
It's in a 10.
Is it always a regular playing deck? Did they ever do, say, like a tarot deck?
So that's happening.
So interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. So I actually work a couple hours a week at Frame Factory as well. Rhoda Miller is the owner there, and she, I forget how this all came about, but decided to do a show called Tarot-sonburg
That's
And so that is actually, I think she's still taking artists right now, but it'll be, I believe, in November is when it's going to open. And so if you are interested, you can go to the Frame Factory. I think it's framefactoryharrisonburg.com, or you can find it online.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean,
And you pick a tarot card. So we need
a tarot
78 artists.
Yeah,
it's a lot of
78
cards.
artists. Yeah.
I was at an.
Are you going to do it?
I'm going to be sort of a backup because I don't know if you know this, but there have been instances in which artists have flaked. I don't like to talk about it.
No. Artists.
I'm not artists.
No.
Harrisonburg artists?
Flaking?
Yeah, crazy. I know. It's unbelievable, but it does happen. And so I'm hanging back as like a potential sub in.
I hope somebody flakes so you can participate.
I was at an awesome event at the Frame Factory
Yeah.
Saturday morning. Caleb Stein and Lindsay from Spectator Bird. Yeah. I had never known. How long is that? Do you know about? I want to talk about the artist interview series. How long has that been going on?
Coffee with Creatives.
Coffee with Creatives. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been two others that I know of, and it doesn't have like a regular schedule right now. But yeah, I went to the last one. I wasn't able to go this past Saturday, but went to the last one, and yeah, they're really interesting. It's a great, like, intimate little sort of talk with people who are doing the art thing, and
it was
being
awesome.
creative.
They were talking about their music and their art. Mm-hmm. And well, the only reason I knew was because you sent me, Mama Shackles. You sent me the.
I wanted to go, but I needed to sleep real bad.
So you sent Jay in your stead.
I was like, Jay, go to this. I'm sleeping.
I was bawling like a baby.
Yeah.
She was playing this song. It was real emotional. The one about throwing up in the library books.
Oh, yeah.
I love that
she's
song.
so good.
You love that.
Spectator Bird is so good. Oh, my gosh. They were at the Paul Simon thing. Mwah.
I think that library book throwing up song I've cried to as well, Jay. It's a good one.
While we're talking about Caleb Stein, tomorrow night at the Sagebird, I think they're playing Caleb
Is that
Stein
right?
and some other people.
That sounds right.
And then Friday, well,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it later. We're not done with Laura yet.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We are, actually. I think we
Friday night is First Fridays.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lots of art
Yes.
Lots of
downtown. And the Rocktown
Yeah.
Improv will be performing at Court Square Theater, 7:30.
7:30. So go, come downtown, go to all the galleries, see all the art, get the free cheese, get the wine or whatever. And then when you're tired of walking around and looking at art and your feet hurt and you're drunk and you can't drive home, come to the theater.
You're really selling it. I like it.
This is the whole
do that.
idea
Right?
behind it. Yeah, when you need to like sit down and laugh off that art drunk,
Yeah.
come watch some improv
There
at
you go.
7:30 at Court Square.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, Laura, thank you very much for being here. We're trying to talk to people of Harrisonburg that are creative and entrepreneurial. You fit the whole bill. You're awesome.
You really do.
I am so glad that Harrisonburg has people like you in it.
Oh,
You know anything about plumbing? I need somebody to replace this valve on my,
There's that
my
too, yeah,
water
but-
line.
You need to go and get some popular mechanics magazines.
Yes.
I will give you the
They're
Popular
everywhere. They're
Mechanics
gone.
magazines.
I think she bought all the plumbing editions.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. It. I'll just say it again. The truth is that the Harrisonburg thrives because of people like you.
Yep.
Well,
It's
thank you.
totally
Yeah.
true. So
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that you were able to come here and be a part of our silly little talk. It sounds like you're doing great things.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been a pleasure, and I am so proud to be part of the Harrisonburg artist scene because we have a lot of talent packed into this little town, and I think that's something that is very special about Harrisonburg, and musical. All over, art's all over.
Yeah.
We're flooded with it, and in a very good way. So
I know it makes. I'm in a place right now, and I know we all are. Joy is resistance, folks. Joy is resistance.
Be
That's-
like water.
That's where I'm
That's
at.
beautiful.
I think that's what I'm holding on to. I know we keep this podcast non-political, but I'm going to say it again. Joy is resistance in this town. So,
Thank you, Chris. That's a beautiful thing
Yeah.
to say.
Awesome. All right.
Andre Vasconcelos plucking away on his bass in Rio de Janeiro in the background. Is it happening?
Yes, it is. I can hear it now.
You can hear it now. I can hear some. Yeah, they're playing some. They're jamming out down here. Ruby's Arcade, our sponsor in downtown Harrisonburg. Come down here Tuesday nights at 7:30 for the big not the variety show, but it's Bingo is Life with the one and only Howdy Show, well, the two and only Howdy Show brothers. And then anytime you want to, Bingo is Life, the podcast on the internet, thanks to our guest, Laura Thompson, all the way from upstate New York, and everyone else. We'll see you next week, kids.
Good night. Bingo is Life, a post-bingo Harrisonburg podcast, is brought to you by the Brothers Howdy Show and our friends at Ruby's Arcade in downtown Harrisonburg, Virginia. If you've enjoyed the show and feel it's worth spreading a little joy in this world, please tell just one person that you like this podcast. Word of mouth, more than any other form of promotion, is how creative works get noticed and sustain themselves. Thank you, Andrew Hickey, for that bit of wisdom, and thank you, listeners, for being part of the fun.